When Family Guy announced two specials this year, I think it's fair to say that the reception was underwhelming at best. It just seemed like nobody was excited and the online buzz was practically non-existent. Now, for the most part, I barely saw any YouTube videos discussing the specials, and I just felt like people really didn't care about Family Guy. Now, I had planned to make a video about the specials earlier this year, but I decided to wait until the specials aired to just see how they turned out. So I waited, and after watching them, as someone who's been a fan of the series for over 20 years, I was just left disappointed. And judging from the comments of the few people who have talked about it, both Lydia Loves Timelines and LS Mark, it seemed like from the comments that I was reading, you guys were disappointed too. I don't know about you guys, but when Hulu promoted these two specials, I hoped it might be Family Guy's chance to give us something new and exciting. I was really hoping that this could be something that could reignite hope for the show's future. Much like South Park specials on Paramount Plus, I imagined Hulu exclusive Family Guy episodes could spark fresh interest for the series. You know, and to be fair, Family Guy has had a rich history of specials that are both critically acclaimed and loved by fans. Like, for example, the Road 2 series of episodes was definitely loved by fans, just outside of the one where they went to India. That one had mixed reviews, to say the least. And some of Family Guy's best episodes really are their Christmas and Halloween specials, especially Road to the North Pole. That one is just amazing. Despite Family Guy's mixed quality over the years, the specials have always held a special place in fans' hearts. But what we got were two forgettable 22-minute episodes that could have been easily slotted into any of the past 8 seasons without anybody noticing. The best way to sum up the reception to these two specials is with the top comment on Lydia Love Timeline's video about the episode. I got bored, looked at my phone, and when I looked up, it was over. Solid Family Guy episode. Or there's this one on LS Mark's video. Everybody knows the true metric of a Family Guy episode is how many clips from it end up in a Family Guy Funny Moments compilation. So Lydia's channel already provides a pretty in-depth breakdown of the episode, so I don't want to rehash that. Instead, I want to focus on how Family Guy is falling behind in almost every area compared to its competitors like South Park. Just know this is especially disappointing because I genuinely love the show and I want to see it do well, but at the same time I can see where it's struggling and I want to share my thoughts. When comparing South Park to Family Guy, one thing stands out, and that is that South Park is the king of the cultural zeitgeist. With its Paramount Plus specials, South Park feels like an event, almost like a movie. I don't know about you guys, but I legitimately hear people in my close circle talking about the South Park specials more than I do a lot of movies that come out. And you just don't hear people talk about Family Guy like that at all in a regular conversation. In the early 2000s and a bit into the 2010s, Family Guy competed with South Park in the cultural conversation, but by 2015, Family Guy seemed to lose that edge. Mainly because it stopped producing anything culturally relevant, and when they tried to, they would make crap episodes like the Millennial episode or Trump Guy. Once again, that's why I was excited for these Hulu specials. I thought this could be Family Guy's attempt to try and make these episodes feel special. Now, I think if Family Guy had Hulu exclusive specials on the same scale as South Park's, I think it could have generated some real excitement and brought the show back into the cultural conversation. Even if it was just Family Guy trying to emulate South Park, I wouldn't mind as long as the episodes felt like actual specials rather than the forgettable 22-minute episodes we got. And you gotta remember, this is in stark contrast to South Park specials, which are 40 to 60 minutes long, tackle relevant topics, and engage in meaningful dialogue. I think my cat is finally done being in the video. South Park takes on current issues, presenting both sides of the argument, and they offer something grand that impacts the show. So something I find that a lot of people forget is that Family Guy used to have a similar approach, with events from one episode affecting the show's characters in future episodes. For example, Cleveland and Loretta's divorce, and Brian and Jillian's breakup both had lasting effects on their characters. However, over the past decade, Family Guy has strayed away from this narrative format. Most of the characters rarely change or grow now, and many are treated as one-note flanderized versions of themselves. I think the lack of continuity and commitment to character development has hurt the show's reputation and longevity. You can't even really get attached to the characters anymore because the show may just send them to the Shadow Realm for an off-screen joke, like with Doug or Cleveland's family.
Oh, and Doug died in a commuter plane crash this morning.
Now, comparing The Simpsons to Family Guy may feel like beating a dead horse, but it's worth noting that the horse isn't completely dead. In recent years, The Simpsons has had a bit of a revival, and it's because recently The Simpsons has really been trying new things and pushing the show and its characters to their limits. For instance, there's the episode where Marge calls Lisa chunky, which explores how that affects her, and there's also the one where the entire episode is framed like Death Note, or then there's Simpsons Land, which comments on fans' expectations of the show. Of course, not every episode is perfect, but these experimental episodes have brought a new sense of excitement for the show. These are episodes that explore the characters and paint the show in a different light, giving us something to be excited about week to week in hopes of something new and interesting coming. And no, the episodes of Family Guy where they parody Sherlock Holmes or some shit doesn't count. Now, Family Guy has tried to do something like these new Simpsons episodes, but it was a while ago with episodes like Send in Stewie Please, where he goes to a therapist and we see the exploration of Stewie's true self. Or Brian and Stewie, where they're locked in a bank vault and we see a darker side of Brian. Now, both of these episodes were great and they should be taken seriously, but these type of episodes happen so rarely that they're unlikely to be taken seriously by most audiences. And when you consider that these specials were announced all the way back in April, I think audiences were just expecting more. Or they weren't, and that's the problem too. I was hoping that these would be two 40-minute long specials where meaningful events take place and the characters have something to do. But as I've said, we got two 22-minute episodes that I had a hard time even remembering, which I shouldn't be surprised by either, but it's really sad to think that that has basically become the standard. Ultimately, Family Guy had an opportunity to get fans excited for the potential future of the show and what it had to offer, and it just dropped the ball. I know Seth MacFarlane hasn't written for the show since around season 9 to 10, but that doesn't mean Family Guy is incapable of delivering great episodes. Like, for example, the Snapple decision from season 22 is a recent episode that explores Meg and Lois's relationship without Meg always being the butt of the joke. I think it's a great episode, and it stands out as an example that the modern Family Guy team can write some decent episodes without the characters acting flanderized, so I just don't see why more effort wasn't put into these two specials. Overall, I just really want the show to try again, and it just feels like it has been trying for quite a while. I think one of the things that has changed a lot in modern Family Guy that I feel like can be seen all over these specials is that the show is written like the jokes were made first and the plot comes second. So guys, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of these specials and how you think Family Guy needs to change to catch today's audiences. Or if you did enjoy the specials and you feel like everybody's being a little too harsh on them, let me know what it was about the specials that you enjoyed. Alrighty guys, you all take care. Have a good one.